Hello and welcome to the MCUL Priority Report for June. This month we'll be continuing with a format that we started last month, breaking the updates into three separate reports, focusing on the association side, then on CU Solutions Group, and a third report that is about industry trends. So in this update, we'll be looking at the association side of things, MCUL and CUNA working on behalf of member credit unions. As I tape this, we've just returned from our 2016 annual convention and exposition in Detroit. And I don't think it's an exaggeration to call the event a fantastic success. More than 1,100 people were on hand to celebrate the great work of credit unions. And I really want to thank so many of you for taking the time to join us in Detroit. It was a great celebration, opportunities for networking and learning about some new solutions that we're introducing from MCUL and CUSG. We packed a lot into just 3 days, including raising more than $4,500 for the Michigan Credit Union Foundation at our first annual Corks for a Cause fundraiser. We raised over $70,000 for Credit Unions for Kids and the Children's Miracle Network from our auctions and our golf outing. So take a moment to absorb some of what you learned at this year's convention, and be sure to mark your calendars to join us again next June in Grand Rapids. In my Friday morning message, I shared a vision regarding the incredible challenges facing American families and consumers, and how credit unions, with the help of their support organizations like MCUL and CUNA and CU Solutions Group, are here to help. I also introduced 8 new solutions from MCUL, CUNA, and CU Solutions Group. Now, for a link to my entire presentation, as well as individual sections of that, visit our website at mcul.org. At our site, you'll also be able to preview the 8 big solutions announcements that we made at the convention. Some of them, like Destination Compliance and the Love My Credit Union campaign, which is rebranded from Share the Love, those are available now for credit unions, and others of these new solutions will be coming soon. So for those of you who weren't able to make it to Detroit for the convention, you'll also be able to view many of the presentations from the convention on our website, including Governor Snyder's on-stage signing of the legislation that updates our Michigan Credit Union Act. As you know, we've been working on that legislation for more than a year, and it's a phenomenal accomplishment for our industry to finally see that legislation pass and be signed by the governor at our convention. We've spent a lot of time in prior priority reports discussing the ways that the new MCUA will reduce the regulatory burden and improve business conditions for credit unions. But now it's time for us to get to work taking advantage of the changes to the Act. And a lot of that information is available at our website at mcul.org. We've put together a comprehensive list of what credit unions need to know about the new legislation as it takes effect, so credit unions can take advantage of those new provisions. You'll find information on new product and service offerings at our website that you can take advantage of for your members, important information about examiner protections, and more. I also want to say thank you once again to everyone who helped get the legislation passed. Certainly our team members, our volunteers, our committee members, and the grassroots lobbying efforts from our credit union community at large. The reason that we were successful with this important State Act update is because of the incredible advocacy efforts by everyone involved. So thank you all again for your hard work, not just meeting with lawmakers during the process, but the work many years prior in establishing relationships, introducing yourselves, and making sure that those lawmakers understand what credit unions are all about. This included legislative breakfasts, PAC contributions, and all kinds of advocacy efforts. Now we can step back and be happy about the outcome. Now, one of the other hot topics at this year's convention was the release of a white paper developed by our Internal Controls and Internal Fraud Task Force. This white paper contains best practices and fraud prevention strategies and tips scaled to credit unions of different sizes. We had hard copies of the report on hand, and we distributed it by email as well to all of our member credit unions. So if you didn't get a copy, if you'd like to share it more broadly, let us know and we'll assist you in any way we can. That report is also available on our website where you can download a copy. Now, I especially want to thank our EVP and Chief Operating Officer, Ken Ross, for his role in releasing that white paper, but coordinating the efforts of the task force to gather all the information that went into that important publication, as well as his leadership in helping to coordinate the passage of our Michigan Credit Union Act update legislation. Thank you so much, Ken, for your leadership. Our next big MCUL event is just a few weeks away, and it's a topic or an event that covers a topic that's important to really all credit unions. If you were at our AC&E, hopefully you had a chance to hear from former Darden Employees Credit Union CEO Jim Cash on how credit unions can better reach millennial members. We're lucky to have Jim coming back to join us for 2 sessions next month, one in Lansing and one in Ann Arbor, and there are a limited number of seats available for this event, so please register early. Jim will be working with participants to craft strategies for attracting and serving millennials at your credit union. There are still some slots available, but again, I encourage you to register early as we do have limited seating. Shifting to compliance, earlier this month, the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau held the first hearing on its long-awaited payday lending rule. The rule itself is more than 1,300 pages long, and both CUNA and the Michigan Credit Union League plan to file comment letters with the Bureau on ways that proposed rule can be improved. One positive note, however, is that it does include a carve-out for the sort of payday alternative loan products that many credit unions offer. While MCUL plans to issue the comment letter to CFPB on this rule, the League is also working to stop the expansion of payday lending here in Michigan. As you may recall, your League staff testified this spring before the Senate Banking Committee in Lansing, along with representatives from a variety of other industries across the state who are opposed to the expansion of payday lending authority. Things have been quiet on this front for quite a while, but we're expecting the committee to pick this legislation back up in the second half of the year. And our governmental affairs team has been busy building a coalition of those opposed to the expansion of payday lending in Michigan. So stay tuned to hear more about this, and be sure to be involved to help us in our advocacy efforts to keep these expanded payday lending authorities from happening. Lastly, I want to touch on some recent news from the Department of Labor, which could have and will have a significant impact on your credit union and your HR department and your operations. So last month, the department published its final rule on eligibility for overtime pay. The rule nearly doubles the threshold to qualify an employee as an exempt employee, raising that threshold to $47,500. According to the Department of Labor and the Obama administration, the rule is expected to help nearly 4.2 million workers who are currently exempt from being paid overtime. However, the controversial rule is worrying and troublesome to credit unions and other businesses because there's a real belief that this new rule will increase costs and slow hiring of new employees. Additionally, some experts say the rule may actually limit growth opportunities for the workers affected. According to CUNA, credit unions may be forced to limit services or reduce the hiring of new full-time employees. The salaries of credit union employees vary depending on a number of factors such as asset size, location, cost of living, and number of employees. Experts say that by setting one national salary threshold, the rule is overlooking all those distinctions. So this rule would also cause new regulatory burdens for smaller credit unions and those in rural areas. CUNA encourages credit unions to consult with employment attorneys to determine the best way to comply with this new rule. The rule goes into effect on December 1st of 2016, so credit unions will have 6 months to prepare for the impact of these changes. So let me wrap up by thanking you for your support for MCUL and CUNA's 4-pillared strategy. I talked a bit about our advocacy efforts already. That's the first pillar that has to do with removing barriers. But the bottom line, as we look beyond the passage of the Michigan Credit Union Act and start thinking about what we might do at the federal level with Congress, this is an election year, and for Congress, at least right now, they're focused on the election and not much is going to get done. So our focus, working with CUNA, is to shape the agenda for the next Congress and the next several years to come. We hope that legislative agenda will include updates to the Federal Credit Union Act, similar to what we've accomplished twice now in Michigan in the past 12 years with our State Credit Union Act. We also hope that we can achieve progress on data breach responsibility for merchants, broader exemptions for credit unions from the CFPB rulemaking, and continued progress on all fronts with regulatory relief. On the second pillar of promoting the credit union difference, in Michigan, we'll be focusing on our future campaign direction for the CU Link campaign and continuing to assist credit unions with the integration of their individual marketing efforts with the CU Link STEPS campaign. For the third pillar of providing solutions for service excellence, our future education events at MCUL and CUNA include our September Executive Summit, our Fall Leadership Conference in Traverse City in September, as well as an array of great seminars and conferences offered by CUNA, MCUL, and CUES Michigan. Check our online education calendar for details and be sure to take advantage of all of these education events as well as the many great distance learning programs like the VAP and VLP program for your volunteers and STAR and Merit and others for your management and staff. Finally, our fourth pillar, it's the new pillar called Destination Compliance, or our efforts to work with CUNA to help credit unions with a comprehensive compliance solution. You can access Destination Compliance, a microsite that houses all of the resources and information that you need for regulatory compliance. You can access it from our MCUL.org website. This microsite will allow you to access all of the tools and resources for regulatory advocacy and compliance, as well as stay up to date on the important topics that relate to our advocacy efforts, the information resources to help you comply, and the implementation solutions that you need to be fully compliant. Well, that wraps up the MCUL portion of Priority Report for the month of June, but I hope you'll come back for the Trends Report and the CUSG Report, which include information about a number of new initiatives that we introduced at the Annual Convention and Exposition, introduced by MCUL, CUNA, and CU Solutions Group. Thanks again for watching.